Hi guys, here I am on the beach. Right now we're on White Island Beach, just off the shore of Camaguin, about 10 minutes. So I thought it'd be a good idea to do a little YouTube video out here because I think it's really relevant to like me traveling. It's just like me being on a beach in literally the middle of nowhere. Like there's no one on this beach besides us. There's like maybe 10 people. It's super nice, and this is definitely like one of the reasons why I travel, just because like, I don't know, you're just kind of like alone in the world and it feels good. It's just peaceful. I don't really know. Anyway, so yeah, I had a couple questions that people asked me on Instagram. So if you can see my bush. And then at the end, I'm gonna say like a couple pieces of advice. I also did my toes on the beach. Can you see? Marissa's here too. Hello. Okay. The lighting is divine also.
Actually or no?
I feel like the lighting is divine. Like we're on the fucking beach.
True.
And if it was sunny, I feel like I wouldn't be able to see. Okay, so how do you find out what there is to do once you get where you're going? For example, in this place, we had to go to a tourist information center to even figure out where we were gonna stay or what area we should stay in. So they gave us a brochure with a bunch of stuff to do. But obviously, like, we have Google. Like, you could just Google it. You know, stuff to do in Camaguin Island, or like when you meet people in hostels, they'll tell you what to do. But like, there's always so much. Like, these places are just full of like natural landscapes and full of like natural tourist attractions. So there's always a lot to do. So you can't really do everything. Like, you just pick and choose like what you actually care about seeing. Like, for example, here, like there's 2 small islands you can go to, and then there's 2 hot springs, a cold one and a hot one. There's 2 mountains to climb. So like, obviously, we only have 2 days here. We can't do everything, and we don't want to force ourselves to do everything. So I don't know, just kind of pick what you're interested in and not just do what Google tells you. Like, try to, I don't know, you don't have to do everything just because it's there. So another question someone had for me, and I think this is a really good one, is how do you deal with anxiety while traveling? I have to admit that I am not someone who does experience a lot of anxiety at home. I'm definitely not saying that I never do, because everyone does, but like, I am a really confident person and I am really outgoing, but obviously I definitely still get caught up in times where like I'm really overthinking, or like having a panic attack because I feel really overwhelmed about what to do. And like, definitely it happens more when you're alone. Like, I think traveling with people is definitely a way to ease anxiety because you have someone to talk to rather than just yourself. So I feel like if you're planning on doing a trip and it will be one of your first times backpacking, I would recommend going with a friend. But the way that I deal with anxiety is definitely by writing. Like, I write a lot of music and I write a lot of poetry, and I feel like a way for me to get my emotions out is by just like not thinking, but just like writing it out. Definitely talking about it. Like, when there's a lot on my mind, the people around me can definitely tell, because it doesn't happen very often that I don't feel great. So just being able to speak my mind and talk about what's bothering me is definitely a way to deal with it. But if you're alone, I would just say have outlets that you use at home easily accessible to you at all times while you're here. Like, if what helps you at home is, you know, writing, always have your notebook with you. Or like, if what helps you at home is talking to like your friends or family, make sure you've made it like available for you at all times to have access to like those people, like by having a SIM card or having like WhatsApp or something like that. But I don't know, I also just remember I'm really grateful to be here. Like, I'm really lucky to be here, and I don't want to let anxiety like get the best of me or ruin my days. So I really try and remember that like any of you guys would kill to be in the position that I'm in, and I can't let my own brain ruin this time. Next, how is coronavirus affecting my trip? Well, it hasn't negatively affected my trip yet necessarily. I mean, everywhere we go, they take our temperature. On every boat, on every plane, getting on and off, they take your temperature, because the number 1 sign is a fever. So kind of it's affected us in that way, because when we were sick, we were really afraid to get on the boat because of a fever. And also, a lot less people are here. Like, especially in the Philippines, they say that Chinese tourism is one of the biggest, or some of the biggest tourism comes from the Chinese here. So the fact that they aren't able to travel and all their flights have been canceled have made like the attractions a lot less busy. So in some ways that's a good thing, and in other ways coronavirus coronavirus affecting tourism has been bad because it's made a lot less young people be here. Like, you know, obviously my family is worried about me being here, and I can't imagine, like, you know, thousands of other kids who want to travel to Asia and their families are like not encouraging of it because of the virus. Like, obviously I understand that, but that is a way that it's affected me personally. And I'm supposed to be doing 2 months at the end of my trip by myself in Malaysia and Singapore, and it's something that I've started to think may not happen for me because I want to get the most of out of my experience in these countries, and I don't feel like I can do that if I'm super alone and there's no one staying in the hostels because of the virus. Like, obviously it's not going to be empty, but like, you're more likely to meet someone if your room is of 12 people is full rather than if there's only 4 people there. But I haven't made that decision yet. I'm just gonna kind of like play it out and wait and see. So
also,
like
all the hostels we stayed in have been kind of empty.
Yeah, but like a lot of the hostels we've stayed in have been kind of empty, but also the Philippines is more remote.
Yeah.
So like in Indonesia and Singapore and Malaysia, it may be different, but I'll keep you guys updated on my decision there. As of right now, I'm still going. So, and I just kind of want to end this video with advice, if you care about my advice. And I also haven't been looking at the camera the entire time, but like, that's fine. But number one, I tried to see the good in people. Like, there's a lot of people trying to sell you stuff at all times in Asia, all the time. And there's a lot of people asking you questions. Where are you staying? What are you doing? Do you need this? Do you need this? Do you need this? And like, just because they're trying to sell you something doesn't mean they're a bad person. Just because they're trying to sell you something doesn't mean you can't ask them other questions. Or like, just everyone in general, like, you don't just assume that people are out to get you. Especially in this country, I've found like 99% of the people we've asked have been willing to help us in some way. So definitely try to don't expect the worst, expect the best. And if it goes the other way, then that's like a one-time thing. But obviously, like, trust your common sense. Like, if you have a bad vibe, you have a bad vibe. Like, that's how I feel. Also, don't be afraid to ask questions. Kind of ties into that. We would not be on this island, this little tiny island, or this big island of Camiguin if we hadn't been asking other people questions or asking locals questions about how to get here and how to do things. So, and locals know a lot more than Google. So, yeah. Don't be hard on yourself about rest days. Traveling is a lot of work, and especially the actual getting around takes a lot of energy, a lot of brain power and physical energy. So don't beat yourself up if you don't want to go out one night, or if you just need a day to just hang out and read your book somewhere. Like, you don't need to fill every single day to the brim or you'll be burnt out. Like, my first trip ever was to Italy, and we did something every single day. Literally every single day we did stuff in the day, and every single night we got absolutely wasted. So, and that trip was good, but like, it made the time between me and those people a lot more strenuous because we were so burnt out. Also, another piece of advice is, if you get sick, go to the doctor. Don't wait it out to see what happens. Like, if you travel, you should have travel insurance, which is really, really cheap also, like literally so cheap. It covers you for like $5 million for like $100, like $5 million of health insurance or medical expenses for $100. So if you get sick, don't wait it out. Just go to the doctor right away. And back to the first point, don't just do things because they're there. Like, for example, we were staying on this island called Bohol, and the biggest thing to do there is called the Chocolate Hills, but like, they're just hills. Like, we're gonna go 2-3 hours out of our way just to see some hills. Like, I'd rather do things we're more interested in, like the zip lining. So do your research, and yeah, be open. Just be open to everything. Say yes. Don't be afraid to speak your mind, especially with the people you're traveling with. Communication is the most important part of traveling with someone else. Being able to be honest about what you want to do and don't want to do. Be like a reed. Be like a reed. Go with the flow. So that's my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My hand is covered in sand, so is that hand clean?
Yeah, this hand.
Okay, she's gonna end it for me, but I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, get a like. I don't really care. Bye.